And the best part, that's the most out of touch piece of shit bullshit, is even for the highest level of a competitive level, players that have been refining their skills for the last 4 or 5 years that are off tank or main tank players have a certain set of skills. Even the most best flex gods in the world, like Aimbot Calvin used to be as considered one of the best flex players on the entire ladder, could play anything, and there's tons of players in, you know, even now that play every role almost to the highest level. There are probably 5 people in the entire world that can play both main tank and off tank at the highest absolute 4.6 plus tier level, 4.7 level. And it's like Violet, Choi, and maybe like a couple, like there's 5 of them, maybe 5. Because the way you play off tank, the way you play main tank have been such different skill sets for all of these years. And in this game modes and with one tank, what's going to end up happening is as metas shift, you're either going to have only main tanks or only off tanks. You're going to be putting people into such disarray that games are going to be more imbalanced than they ever have been before. Because what you're going to do is you're going to have old players and new players that are trying to learn the game, and whether they need to learn Reinhardt, whether they need to play Zarya, whether they need to play D.Va, whatever new tank it is, they're going to have to learn those heroes every single time from the ground up. And what you're going to have is you're going to have inflections of SR within somewhere of 800 to 1,000, where you're going to be 1 week you have some 4,500 Chad Winston player on your team, then it goes to a Roadhog meta and they can't aim on Hog, and all of a sudden they're 3,500 caliber player and they have to go all the way down the ladder, and they're having that awful time losing game after game after game after game after game after game after game. Or they force their Winston and their team just flames the shit out of them, like, oh, you're forcing this dog shit hero, why are you doing that, you're ruining my games, etc., blah 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 blah. You are literally going to absolutely kill not only the tank player experience but those other players experience, because the way that the game has always run, as the reason there was 2 tanks, they have no idea what they're talking about. As they said earlier in the live stream, we can go back and find it. They said that double main tank is oppressive. There has been no double main tank other than that weird Goats Rush that they did in Contenders 2 years ago, where you played Winston, Ryan, Goomba comp, and you just full sent into their team. No professional and high level teams have ever really played double main tank, because double main tank has been garbage other than the very like week or two like Orisa Ryan was good or whatever the fuck that was going on. It has never been like that. It never has been like that. It never will be like that. The fact that they think that is actually how it works is scary, and that you're going to change the game on a level that is going to completely change Overwatch for what it is now. It will not resemble it at all when this happens, and you're either going to find a brand new player base, or and your old player base is going to be isolated away, or B, your current player base is going to somehow find a way to work with it, and the new player base and them are going to clash, because those new players are going to be trying to learn everything at once. Those old players are going to be very stuck in their old ways, because they're going to be very good at certain heroes and very not good at certain heroes, and it's going to create a power dynamic between players of both DPS support and tank, where it's going to not only increase toxicity, but it's going to increase or decrease your player experience based on what the meta is, to a level that is amplified 100 times worse than it is now. People hate when the meta gets stuck. They hate when it gets stuck because they don't like the heroes that are in it, whether it was double shield, whether they're not a fan of, if you're a Mercy player, you hate Rush. If you're a Lucio player, you hate Poke. Whatever it is, you're stuck in that meta even worse now, because if you don't play that one hero that you need, it is actually amplified 10 times more. Because before, you could kind of get away with it until you got really high up. You would still have some friction, you'd have some pushback, but at least people can be like, well, I want to play meta, but that guy's not playing it, so we just have to deal with it. Now you're putting it on one person, and if that one person doesn't do it, you're screwed. And even better yet, that one person is not going to be inclined to, because they will not be rewarded. Because of what I just witnessed, the tank players on both sides made no plays for 4 maps. One guy made a play on second point on second map on Hog. He got 3 hooks, and that was the biggest plays of any tank player through the 4 maps. So you're going to be forced as a tank player to play certain roles, to play the meta, and you're not going to be rewarded for it. You're just going to be picking the hero that you're going to have to pick to satisfy the rest of the group, the rest of the team, to make sure you don't get rolled. And then it's going to become a coin flip of who feeds first, who doesn't feed. The skill ceiling has to go through the roof at that point, but it's actually become so high that it's not going to be obtainable, because of how many different heroes you're going to have to learn and how many different play styles you have to learn for each and every single one of them. You're going to make the player experience so dog shit. I didn't think it was possible to make it worse, but you found a way. I should say congrats. I have one thing to say, and one thing only. That's it. That's it. That's all I got to say. That's all. That's it. That is terrifying. I can't believe that. That's it. That's all I got.